Ladies and gentlemen, assume that I was an anarchist, and assume that I was a complete moron. But I repeat myself. If I were an anarchist, my view of the state would be distorted, let us just say. And let us make a comparison with uranium, because it is a very apt comparison. Uranium gives off warmth. Now, if you believe that uranium gives off warmth for the wrong reasons, you are in for some nasty surprises. If you believe that uranium gives off warmth because of alpha radiation, then you are off in a scientific direction, or you have come from a scientific direction. The difference between viewing uranium as warm and viewing it as extremely dangerous because of alpha radiation is a huge world of difference. On the one hand, you will put it on your wristwatches because it glows at night, and you will use it as face cream because of the warmth that it gives, and you will you think that that's helping your skin, and these properties will seem magical, and so you use them in pill form, and you actually take pills, and you'll make dishware out of this stuff if you think that the warmth coming from uranium is some sort of property, and you just don't know what it is, and so you think, oh, it could be this, could be that, and you don't know because you're not scientific. Well, uranium is a lot like the state. It shoots out little teeny bullets. It's really a lot like the state. You can use it to save your life. You can build nuclear power plants using uranium as fuel, and you can take little teeny pieces of uranium and put next to pieces of cancer in your body, and it will kill the cancer cells. And if you're overexposed to uranium, it will kill you, so you have to be dangerous about that. And you can use radiation for X-rays, which can also help you. So the only thing about it is you have to be extremely careful with it. It's just very, very dangerous. But to say that because it is dangerous, we shouldn't use it at all, that's your other option, right? And let's just say that the anarchists have taken that route. They don't use it as face cream. They don't wear it as necklaces. They don't put it on their wristwatches, and they don't use dishware made out of it. They dispense with it all together. They don't make nuclear power plants with it, and they don't use it for X-rays, right? All of the sophisticated advanced things that you have to do very carefully with it, they don't do it. That's what the state is, if you follow my metaphor. All of the sophisticated things we do with the state, like protection of intellectual property rights, for example. Very sophisticated behavior. No time for it, right? That's just the state meddling. Okay, so you're not going to have cancer treatment. Do you know what you're not going to have if you can't figure out uranium? If you're just going to dispense with it and say, not worried about that, like you're just getting rid of the state, saying not worried about the sophisticated behavior of the state. We are not worried about the sophisticated behavior of what happens when you have a state. We're going to get rid of all that. Do you know one thing that you'll get rid of? Nuclear bombs. That's pretty important. Let's think about that for just a second. In 1940, 45, in the 1940s, let us say, the world had a whole slew of societies that said, we're just going to dispense with the technicalities, and we're just going to run our own little la-la land. They were just building utopias everywhere. And these utopias were ganging up together and attacking America, one side and another. Now, they didn't have time or resources, for that matter, or the inclination or the knowledge to try to discover anything about uranium or plutonium. All right, so we use plutonium. Radioactivity, shall we say. They didn't have the time or inclination or wealth or technology. They say the Germans were trying to do it. We beat them to it. Okay? This is real, Mr. Anarchists out there, messieurs. This is real shit. The nuclear bomb stopped these utopian societies in their tracks. Okay? We, as a society that were able to stop them, we were yielding the rule of law. That's why we were able to do it when they couldn't. That's why we had the stability and the productivity. When they could build a lot of tanks, but the tanks weren't very good. They built 3,000 tanks in Germany. America built 35,000 Shermans. right? Russia built a lot of tanks too. Yeah, out of American factories that we shipped them. So Russia gets very little credit for their industrialization during World War II. That was us. We shipped it all over the hump at Murmansk. All of their industry came from America, virtually all of it. And that didn't come from America in the 40s was sold to them in the 1930s. We built everything in Russia in the 1930s. And we took gold payment for it too. And they paid us in gold because they liquidated their citizens. I'm a bit off the subject. Uranium is important. It stopped Soviet Russia. It stopped Japan. It stopped Russia from expanding. It stopped Japan. It would have stopped Germany if we needed it to. So, nuclear weapons are important. Uranium is scientific. The state is scientific. It is advanced behavior. It's dangerous. It is dangerous. You do not play with uranium lightly. You do not play with the state lightly. We keep the state locked up behind a piece of paper. And the people who run the state are elected officials. Now you're going to laugh at that and say, they're locked behind a piece of paper. That's how sophisticated the behavior is. And if you wonder whether or not that sort of behavior, locking the state behind a piece of paper, is viable or productive or will work in the long run, then just look at the story of uranium and plutonium and nuclear bombs and nuclear power. Of course you have to be sophisticated in your thinking and behavior. You cannot act like you're in kindergarten and just say, everybody get along.